This is a special episode talking about the impact of the coronavirus. I was at the game, the Mavericks game, this week with it. The buzz went through the crowd. The usher that I've had the same season tickets for 29 years now. So I'm on a first name basis with the usher. We have really nice seats, and she just came up and whispered in my ear and said, guess what? This is the last game of the year. They just suspended the season. And then later we find out that all sports, pretty much any large gatherings of people have been canceled. No March Madness. And so obviously there's some sports card insights about that, because that means all sports are now on off season for a while. So the Zion mania, where you're looking at what Zion's doing as he's trying to catch up with Ja for Rookie of the Year, and just it seemed like the daily increase in some of his better cards, that's on hold now. So basketball, I think, is especially impacted because it was really peaking, whether it's pushing for the playoffs and the playoffs coming up as well, or the March Madness. Those things are, I'm guessing they're off, not just suspended, but totally off. As far as the future, I'm not able to predict what that is. When I got my PhD in statistics, I had an offer and an opportunity to go do a postdoctoral fellowship at a biostatistics place where I would have been doing some epidemiology and things like that. And I didn't act on it. I went and became a professor instead, because I wasn't that strong in science. So I'm not going to give you science information. This is not science insights. It's sports card insights. But again, I'm sad because I love watching sports. But this coronavirus is different than the flu. It's more virulent. It's more deadly. It's more easily transmitted than the regular flu, and it's contagious before it's symptomatic, which is obviously a problem. People don't know they have it, and that's why there's this aggressive shutting down of other things. The other thing that it impacts, which also would include collectors, friends that I know, is it affects. It has a greater effect. Seems to have a greater effect on those that have other health concerns or are older. And so if you are significantly overweight, this is a wake-up call to get back to move toward being in better shape, healthier, and again, it might be really important. Doing the math here, if they say this doubles every 4 days, you could start with 1, and in 40 days you'd have 1,000 people infected, and they say that's 2 or 3% would die. I'm hoping it'll wind up being less than that. But if it's 2%, that's only 20 people dying. That's still 20 people, 20 families that are impacted. But the problem is, when you double that, when you go to 80 days out, it goes up to 1 million people infected. And you go to 120 days, it's 1 billion people. So the geometric or kind of exponential progression of this, you can see why people are very serious. The quarantining, I'm not sure that's going to work. I hope it works to a great enough degree that can slow the rate, and hopefully they can come up with a cure, a shot, whatever. Another sports card insight: Rudy Gobert, the first player really to be identified as having the COVID-19. Be interesting to see how badly he's affected. He's in, these athletes, especially, basketball, all the athletes are in just spectacular shape, but will his career be compromised? Will he be seriously? I don't know. I hope he has a mild case, and again, that it doesn't transmit to other people on his team or in his family or the people he's come in contact with. Clearly, the other thing, which, again, there are a lot of other podcasts that talk more about investment than I do, but, this has clearly been really bad for the economy, especially the stock market. And you couple that with it's kind of a crash in oil prices. There's some storms. They're not storm clouds. We're in the middle of a storm. If you have a certain kind of job, you may not be able to go to work. And if you can't work, and in some cases you would not get paid, I just want to tell you that, card collecting can be an investment, but it's also a hobby. And if you don't have your job or you don't have income, there will be people that are going to have to think about selling their collection or selling some of their collection, because if it's a choice of eating or providing for your family or having a nice collection, And again, many of the collection items, as we've talked in some of the episodes, are replaceable. There may be a few things that'd be really difficult to replace, but not, but that's probably a short list. There, back in 87 when they had it sounds like a long time. It was a Black Friday or Black Monday, whatever it was. But that day when the stock market crashed so bad, it actually was a boost to vintage card collecting, and especially the more difficult, the rarer, scarcer items, because in some sense, there may have been a perception that cards would be, or at least glamour cards or older cards would be safer than the stock market. Again, there are no sure things. Again, that's a perception of some people. It seemed to be true in those days. And yet, once that market went down, it started building its way back up. And I'm hoping I'd like to end on that note, is that the stock market's going down and it looks pretty gloomy out there, but, just hoping there are better days ahead and soon. And if at some point you jump into the stock market, or if cards continue to go up, or if they dip, it could be a selling opportunity, it could be a buying opportunity. Again, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying that in a dynamic situation like this, there are opportunities to courageously jump in or jump out and use your best judgment. So thanks, people. I hope nobody's sick. Pay attention to the precautions. We're missing the sports. They won't be on TV or at the game, but hopefully that'll come back soon. So I'll address this again in another episode. But for now, that's just my quick take on the coronavirus and its terrible results at this point.